What's up, New Style? What's going on, everybody? This is Bob Peters, BAHB, also known as Dr. Gannon. And today, what's today's date? Man, I don't even know. We in July the 17th. It's a Monday, and I have somebody very, very important. She's like, man, it's the love of my life, like my big sister, man. And y'all gonna meet her. I want to introduce everybody to Dr. Spock. Dr. Spock, ladies and gentlemen. Kim, could you go ahead and Kim Harris, could you please introduce yourself to everybody? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. I'm Kim Harris, David Harris, or better known as Tony Harris, or better known as even Dr. Jekyl. I'm the big sister. I was there from the very beginning of the doctors and saw them through with a lot, starting at the crib, their first house party, 122nd of the South.
That's right, Kim. And Kim, tell us, how are you doing? What's going on in your life these days? What are you doing now?
Well, thank God, I just retired recently after 34 years in education, 15 years in business.
Whoa.
And I'm visiting Bob at the moment, so I am in Cuenca.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I'm permanently living in Ecuador, you guys, and I love it. And Kim, I know she came out here to check up on me.
Of course I did, Bob. Now you know.
She came to make sure everything was everything. Wow, have you been enjoying yourself?
Are you kidding me, bro? Beautiful. I mean, it's like everything is just beautiful. The weather, the people, just the scenery, just a lot of love out here, people. A lot of love.
Mm-hmm. So Kim, basically, I guess that's how we met, through the doctors and the formation of the group and everything. We grew up in Chicago, and Kim and I have something in common. It's kind of funny, but we're both from the Catholic League.
Yeah.
Okay? And what school did you go to?
Aquinas Dominican High School. Aquanite in the house, brother.
Aquinas Dominican.
Yes.
Now, I went to Mendel. Everybody, the doctors went to Mendel. Rory went to St. Francis. I guess it was a Catholic League thing, but at Mendel, we had the Augustinian fathers. Did they have an order at Aquinas? Did they have an order? You remember?
The Dominican sisters.
Oh, the Dominican. Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't know.
Yeah. No. The Dominican sisters.
Yeah. Now, see, for those of you that don't know, the Catholic League, it was a couple of schools that were co-ed, but most of them were either all boys or all girls.
Right.
And we used to make our trips to Aquinas because that's where the girls were, okay?
We used to make our trips to
As our freshman year, actually, we had a dance that was coordinated by the faculty, and the freshman class of Aquinas, they came over to Mendel. And we met a lot of girls that went to Mendel, and they met a lot of us. I remember Camille Jarrett, Stephanie Ward, Charmaine Ward, Rory Peters, Kim Carter. I mean, these are some of the most beautiful women inside and out, you guys. We were talking yesterday, and it seemed like is that what the nuns, were they teaching y'all to be beautiful and independent? Man, I mean, hey.
I don't know, but just really I like what you said, beautiful outside and inside too. Some very caring, loving girls came out of Aquinas.
That's beautiful.
They did a lot of community service when we were in high school for young and old, and we were just always about kindness and goodness at Aquinas.
Yes. So this is about the doctors, you guys. I mean, we were. Oh no, you know what, Kim? I tell you what. Like if somebody said to you, "Well, who are the doctors? What are the doctors?" What would you say?
Well, I would say it's a group of very, first of all, talented young men in many ways. They all had their attributes. They were smart. They were smart. They were, gracious gentlemen. They were really gentlemen. I can say that about the young guys from Mendel Catholic Prep. They all had certain gifts, whether it be an artist, whether it be a dancer, singer, whether it be just good with handling business, very business astute, very interesting young men. They all had goals and aspirations. They all had intentions to go somewhere in life. And, the Catholic school for them was that was the foundation.
Okay, that is true. That is true. We took that everywhere we went.
Yeah.
We wanted to represent. And this is about being the sister of a doctor. Okay? We all had, a lot of us, we all had sisters. I had two sisters. Darian had two sisters. Steve had sisters. Quinn had sisters. Tim had sisters. Can you see Somerville? No, he didn't have a sister. Rory had a sister. Robin. Yeah, I mean, and Mendel men we had a trademark. Mendel men are just. And Kim was Dave's older sister, my older sister. I mean, they were checking us, okay? They were.
Of course. For sure.
Yeah. Kim, next door, Kim had a very unique relationship with the doctors because where she lived, where we gave our first talk, we're gonna talk about that. But she lived right next door to Dr. Ben Casey, Steve Taylor.
Oh, yeah.
And Steve had an older sister, Patricia. And they talk about that relationship, Kim.
Oh, yeah. Neighborhood relationships were everything back in the day. Everybody knew everybody. But Miss Taylor was the queen. Mr. Taylor was the king because they were right on that corner. They were right on that 123rd and LaSalle corner. Our parents got along, even Debbie, Steve's younger sister.
Rest in peace.
Yes, and may she rest in peace. And we were just great neighbors, and we supported each other because at that time there were very few Blacks on the block. Actually, the neighborhood was actually just changing over.
That's true.
Blacks were just coming in, but we had a great relationship. We really had, and we still do. Even though my mom, she's gone, and Steve's dad is gone, I still maintain a relationship with the Taylor family. Yeah.
And speaking of family, that will segue perfectly. Mommy, Stacy, and Kim. Yeah, those are some beautiful women, you guys. Well, you know what? Let's talk about Dave. Now, when we say Dave, well, he had like three names.
Man, what was it? Dave, Cool, Tony, and Dr. Spock.
Dr. Jekyl.
Dr. Jekyl.
Yeah.
Right, I'm Dr. Spock. Okay.
Well, let's talk about Dave Dave, your brother.
He was Tony was actually a sweetie pie. One of the things that's probably remembered about Tony, I'm going to refer to as Tony, because that's my baby, is that Tony stuttered. And, he had a hard time with that. But Brother Bob, worked with Tony and really pulled a lot of his shyness out of him. And, a couple of the other guys too, but Bob was really instrumental because Bob took the time. He had a lot of love for my little brother. Tony was a great artist. He loved to draw, and he liked helping people. He was a good kid. He was a good kid.
Kim, I'm so glad to remember that I did try to and we made a lot of progress. Like I think it was him being shy,
Yes.
but he stuttered, you guys. He stuttered heavily. And but you know one thing about people that stutter, they might be ostracized or they might be teased or something. But you know one thing that Kim did not mention about Dave, I'm gonna call him Dave, but it's Tony. Dave was a handsome brother.
Oh yeah.
And break it down. Y'all understand, okay? Everywhere we went, it was insane. I mean, they would be pushing me out of the way to excuse me.
He was a really nice looking guy. He had that little finesse, you know, his skin tone, his hair.
Oh,
he had better hair than I had hair.
Yeah. And he was so cool. And he was so nice.
He was clean. He was clean cut.
Oh,
he was very conscientious of his appearance.
Man, he was dressed. I mean, he got me
dressed to impress.
Yeah. He had me shopping. You know, he would come out, he'd wear the army jacket and the military coats. And I remember all of that. And everywhere we went, he just, I mean, it was just so when we put the group together, I was like, man, we gotta get Dave, man. Dave gonna get all the way. So we had to get help. So he was like, okay, man, all right, man, I'll be in the group, you know. So the doctors, we were like, you know.
All of you all were handsome, Bob. All of you.
Well,
you all was handsome brothers. You really all were.
Thanks,
yes.
Thank God.
No,
I appreciate that.
Okay.
Thanks a lot, Kim. All right. So I don't want to give too much of the history of doctors because we've done so many interviews and videos, but I just want to throw it out there that me and Kildare started dancing. We were going around the city of Chicago, and you know, after we were getting popular, we added members, and we got Skeeter, Dr. Doolittle. He was a little older than us, but we got Dave. And Chico, the artist, he was drawing the pluggers. And Somerville, you know, he was driving. But he was popular too. Everybody. So once we got, you know, we got a feeling that, hey, you know, man, we would go places and people would, you know, we were being treated a little bit like celebrities.
Yes.
You know, I was like, what are we going to do next? And we said, well, man, maybe we should give a party and you know, try to, you know, generate money so we can rent out. Back in Chicago, we used to be in the basement. A house party would be in the basements of the homes. And then so we came up with an idea to give a party. And Dave, Tony, they had the biggest.
Yeah, man. You know, we had a second house from the corner. The basement was a full entire basement, the length of the house, and plus it had a bathroom. Then we had a huge backyard that was fenced in, you know, so people could go out and get some fresh air. So it's really the perfect setting. Perfect setting.
And that's where we had our first party ever in the basement of the house. Now, I've always had this thing, okay? So we asked, I said, Dave, we want to give a party. So I'm like, Dave, man, go home and ask your mother.
I remember what happened.
And talk about that.
Actually, you know, my brother, in his younger years, being the shy guy that he was like, Kim, can you ask Mom if I could have a party? I was like, what? What? He said, we want to have a party. You know, the doctors, we want to, you know, we're trying to raise some money for a party. I said, well, you know what? Then you should ask Mom. It's your party. It's not my party. He said, okay. He said, well, would you come with me? Would you be in the same room? I was like, yeah. And so he asked my mom, and he had courage then. He didn't even stammer that day, nothing. He just asked. And my mom was like, well, what are you gonna do with this party? What is it for? So at first he said, well, we just want to have a little fun. And so my mom said, well, how many people you going? How many people you going? It's not gonna be in my house. He's like, oh no, ma, he's gonna be in the basement. He's like, oh, okay. She said, but you know, we can't have too many people over here. Little did she know.
That's what I'm talking
Little did
about.
she know.
Surprise, surprise, surprise. Look, hey, I
But
always,
can I share really why she said yes?
okay.
Because at the time, my mother was married to a CBD.
Okay, police.
So, you know, just kind of like his presence being kind
For
of
the
lurking in the
security.
background.
Yeah.
You know, as a matter of fact, he even had like a squad car, like roll around, like, hey, y'all, ain't nothing popping off over here. Not 12252.
I always envision Dave saying, "Ma, can I have a party?" It's your hair, go ahead, honey. It's okay. And then when the party came, boom, all those people kept coming.
She was like, Kim, did you know? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of figured, Mom. You know, the guys, you got to know they've been over here in the basement practicing, and you know, what was it, about 8 of y'all? How many of it was?
Not
6 or 8.
I can't remember. Maybe around 6 to 8.
Okay, 6 to 8. Yes, 6 to 8. I said, you know, you got 8 handsome young men, you know, in the house, so you know they're gonna attract. And then I had a nice coming, and of course I had, you know, friends going to Longwood, you know, Seton, Mother Macaulay. So, you know, I told my girls, like, hey, you know, because you want to have more girls at the party, actually. You want to try to have more girls. Because that's what the guys come from.
And we had a reputation for the ladies. We had a reputation, and we were so appreciative for the support from everybody. We had what you call pluggers back then. And when we passed out the pluggers to tell everybody the address, and I mean, Steve, he wasn't in the doctors at the time, but he came to the party. He was like, Dave just said, man, oh yeah, I'm having a party, man, come on over. He said he came over and he was like, what the heck is going on, man? And then he said, I gotta get in the group, you know, because he was a neighbor, but he didn't go to Menlo at the time. But he was just, it was people all down the block.
Is that what made him transfer?
I tell you what.
Meeting you guys, I think that's what made him transfer. He was like, I'm missing something.
He said, I gotta go to Menlo.
Yeah, I gotta go. So I think he went wherever he went for his freshman year. And then he went
to Menlo. But he was supposed to go to Menlo first. Something happened. He ended up at St. Boulevard. So he really ended up where he wanted to go anyway.
Yeah.
And that was excellent because we used to practice at his house. He had the sound system all the music.
Yeah, same basis setup, basically.
So when I talk about the sisters of the doctor, okay, your Stacy was the baby, young. Oh man, she would come to see us practicing because she would hear us.
She's like 4.
Yeah.
4 or 5. You
know. And we asked her, do you have any recollection? You know, at such a young age. And this is what she said, you guys. I'm going to read it. I remember there were some of the biggest influencers of music, style, and entertainment of their time in Chicago. They were their own fraternity, so to speak. Our brother was a talented artist, and everybody who was anybody wanted to attend their jams. The parties provided a safe space for young people to enjoy themselves. They gave their peers something to look forward to in our community. And they were originators of Mendel parties. We're going to talk about that, which continued for generations to come. And let's not forget, those brothers Sproles were tight.
Oh yeah. She had that. That's a great statement, Bob. She's on point. Yes.
When she said they were the originators of Mendel parties, and Mendel had a nickname, the Bible. Could you remember have any recollection?
Somewhat. What do you remember about?
Kim was a little older.
Yeah, I'm 2 years older than Bob. Right. Yeah, I was you know, they were still doing the thing, but I was off to college.
Right. So. But Mendel, you guys, was legendary for given they became a social mecca because of the doctors with the celebrity and us all going to the same school. Well, that translated to like a social mecca, basically. And originally the parties were in the gymnasium, okay? But it was so many people coming that it was like a fire hazard. We had to open up the basement.
Yeah.
So that's where the name bi-level came from.
It was like the overflow section.
Exactly. And there was a music, of course, back in the day, we were dancing to R&B, soul music, funk, blue-eyed soul. And it helped generate revenue for the school because
and also not just the school, but you all gave to some community
oh yeah,
support too. You did give community support. I remember that clearly.
And Kim, you're right. See, we were trying to represent the school. That was a very important aspect of it. And when we were doing everything, well, the Mendel was a Catholic school, and when we first got there,
you represented charity, really. Yes.
The school was integrated. It had white kids there going in and black kids going. But that was my freshman year, and then the doctors didn't start until like our sophomore year, maybe towards summer.
Right.
But
like third quarter, yeah.
But it was like a white flight. All of the white guys left the school, which is like half the population. Half the tuition was gone. So the school, they found out about us and they asked us to give a party at Mendel to help raise money to keep the school going. And kept up with, and they just we had to go home and ask for permission from our parents. But of course they said it was okay, and then we gave a party, and they just let's give another party. Another party.
Because they were successful. They were successful, and it was crowd control.
Yeah.
Nobody got crazy, stupid. Everybody was very, respectful.
Kim,
so
speaking of the Chicago Police Department, we had to have security for the parties. The chaperones were some of the teachers.
Yeah.
I remember Brother Coral. I remember Mr. Adams. Mr. Bush was a favorite. Father O'Grady. But guess what? We had to have the police there too. Now we're talking thousands of kids. Guess how many police were there for security?
Now that I couldn't answer.
One police officer.
A car outside,
I mean, that was it, but because everybody was so
you
well
all
behaved.
you all, like I said, I keep emphasizing, because you all were gentlemen and very respectful. And you were doing it for a very good reason. And you knew that if you acted a fool, then you
really weren't welcome.
Exactly. You weren't coming up in here, so don't even try.
Exactly.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, it was such a beautiful time, such a beautiful space. My youngest sister, she used to go around with me, and she marveled everywhere I went. People, hey Bobby, because we were just so popular. We ended up on the cover of a newspaper and everything. Yeah. So did you ever? I know you were at the one at your house, and then you were away at school. But did you ever make it to any other parts? Because we gave them at Mendel and other different venues like St. Albans, Roberts.
Yeah, I remember going to Roberts 500.
Okay.
I remember that. Yeah, that was huge.
Okay, great.
That was huge. Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
That's where we.
That was like wow. I was amazed that you all still were keeping it going.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. We didn't have a clue what was going on.
But you were doing the whole thing.
It was just that. Yeah. So do you have like Kim? We getting around to the end of the yeah. Like, do you have anything that you would want to share? One time I talked to Pat Steve's sister, and you know, she ended up working for like radio stations, and we got a house music involved, and they did this big picnic, and she found out we were gonna be performing at the picnic, and she was like, you know, back in the day when you guys were there, I didn't realize, I thought y'all were just down there messing around, but you guys, obviously y'all were doing. Do you have anything you want to say, any in closing about what we've been talking about?
Well, you know, I think you all had a lot of business acumen.
Yes,
you know, there had to be a lot of planning to go in. You just don't give a party. You have to have planning and things in place. And I know you all did some serious practicing to the wee hours of the night and maybe even the morning to make sure you had your steps down. You know, you had some GQ. I'm not sure who the clothes, you know, wardrobe person was, but you all were sharp cats. You know, your cuts were straight, your clothes were straight, your shoes were straight. And again, I'm just going to emphasize that you were gentlemen. You were gentlemen. And I know that you might have had some disagreements along the way, but some kind of way, you are always, at the end of the day, everybody was on point. Everybody was respectful, you know, and you're still brothers today. Here it is, 2004, and you all still call you 24. Yeah. 2024. Yeah. 2024. Yes. And you all still call yourself brothers, and I think that's heartfelt. That's a beautiful thing.
That is true. That's exactly right. And you hit the nail on the head. We definitely became like entrepreneurs, and we had it was just so much work, like getting the venue, the hall, getting the pluggers printed up. And the concept. We had comedies there, dance contests, softball games, everything. But Kim, I love my sister, you guys. This is Tony's sister, and Kim, you want to talk about Dave leaving us?
Oh yeah, bless his soul, bless his soul. You know, honestly, folk, it was a very traumatic accident. He fell down a flight of apartment stairs on an icy night, cold, icy, stormy night, and tried to get back up and fell again. So Tony passed away of a brain aneurysm. He stayed with us for about 2.5 years. But on my last visit with him, you know, I noticed that he was really down. And I said, Tony, you okay? He shook his head. Because he really never really could talk, just kind of murmured. And I said, are you tired? He said, yeah. I said, you ready to go home, babe? He said, yeah. And he passed that night, actually.
Yeah. Kim, I'm over here tearing up a little bit. But, you know, I was living in California, and then Gary got killed there. He was living in Missouri, and we all ended up in Chicago. And when Dave was in the hospital, and hospice or hospital situation, and he wasn't responding to people or nothing. But we were like, no, we go on to see him. And we, and a group of us, you know, we went to and the nurse showed us what room he was in. And when I guess he saw us and knew we were there, he lifted himself up and tried to talk to us. And we got happy, you know, but that was about the most that he did to react. But that meant a lot. And I'll never forget. But yeah, I just
and you know what, again, Bob, you know, I want to say thank you to all the doctors who showed up, you know, at his service. And even mental folk who wasn't, you know, guys, you know, who weren't doctors, you know, that reached out to the family, you know, my mom, myself, Stacy, you know, reached out with a lot of love, flowers, all that kind of stuff. So much appreciated, much appreciated.
Well, like you said, Dave was one heck
and you flew in, and some people flew in, you know, from across the country. So, you know, or drove in.
That's
much love.
That was our brother. Yeah.
Thank you, Bob.
You're welcome, Kill, and thank you for doing this. I love people sharing their memories of us. It was a long time ago, but we're you know, I just want to make sure that I say thank you from the bottom of my heart. I'm glad you're here.
Thank you, and thank you for your hospitality here in Ecuador. Thank you. That's
My
what I thought.
pleasure.